At the University of Iowa Center for the Book, we've been engaged in experiments aimed at reproducing pre-industrial papermaking methods in order to better understand the reasons for the superior longevity and aesthetic properties of some of the historical sheets. For 5 centuries, these techniques allowed a team of 3 workers to produce 2,000 or more sheets in a day, or roughly 200 sheets in an hour, forming each sheet by hand, one at a time. Our efforts are documented in an earlier video posted on YouTube. Search Chancery Papermaking to find it. This video documents our attempt to make not just 150 to 200 sheets in an hour for a few hours, but instead a full 2,000 sheets in a single workday. Preparations for this experiment required beating 80 pounds of commercially cooked and bleached cotton rag into a finished pulp and concentrating it for later use, building a special drying area fitted with 800 running feet of half-inch nylon rope, and scheduling 10 student workers and volunteers willing to work a 10-hour day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. On May 30th, 2014, we worked the full day in earnest, but despite our best efforts, by 6 p.m. we had only accumulated 1,350 sheets. People hanging sheets to dry were sometimes standing around, ready to hang more, but it wasn't being produced fast enough by the team at the vat. Why didn't we get closer to 2,000 sheets? The reason for the slowed production rate is not our lack of skills compared to historical workers. Rather, the real culprit was the time it takes for the pulp to drain during sheet forming. We utilized heated water in the vat to decrease the viscosity of the water, but doing so speeds the drainage rate only to a degree. We learned a number of things as a result of this effort and related experiments. The old, very tender linen and hempen rags used as raw material during the history of the craft yielded a much faster draining pulp. Fermentation of the rags prior to beating aided in producing a quick draining pulp as a result of the reduced beating time required. Switching to larger stacks prior to pressing would cut down on the pauses in sheet forming required to press. A team of 3 people never made 2,000 sheets in a day working alone, but actually needed an additional 8 people working in the background, sorting rags, beating, hanging paper to dry, and sorting and finishing for these levels of production to be possible. Using these methods, historical workers produce paper in a quantity and quality on a daily basis that continues to be awe-inspiring for those of us attempting to emulate their work today. Their efforts at various times and places left behind some of the longest lasting and aesthetically pleasing paper ever made.